I said centrist libs still desperately trying to make the argument that a Muslim doctor who's dedicated his life to Medicare for all is unelectable in Michigan. They were professionally wrong when they complained about Abdul campaigning with me. They're still professionally wrong. Have humility. Because Trey Easton of Searchlight Institute, one of John Fetterman's strongest soldiers, by the way, we should remember that. We should remind people of that. Says, let's talk about all the polls out of Michigan today. In a hypothetical matchup, Rogers got 43.8% support to Stevens' 41.5%, while Rogers got 42%. Like, these guys are so invested in eviscerating the left flank because it undermines their fucking worldview. It undermines their primary purpose, which is to get Democrats to give them tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars every election to tell the Democrats what they want to hear, which is keep moderating, keep pivoting to be as friendly as possible to corporations. Anyway, obviously our top news story of the day is Abdul El-Sayed. You guys know him. We all know him, and hopefully the people of Michigan, now that they're getting to know him, are liking what they see. Dr. Abdul El-Sayed reached out to me a couple months back and said, Hassan, I would love for you to come and stump with me, go on a rally with me. I thought in my mind, sure, why not? We've already collaborated. You've already been on my stream. I fundraised for you. I really like what you're doing. I like your background. I like your worldview. I trust you. So I said yes. But what I did not realize was that stumping for a candidate and doing rallies was actually very different than having the candidate come on your broadcast. Now, what's interesting about that is when I came out and said I was going to do a rally with them, a bunch of advocacy organizations that are pro-Israel got very mad. Obviously, the propaganda wing of AIPAC, Jewish Insider, was very frustrated about it. They started writing article after article after article. You had a lot of centrist, right-wing, Israel First Democrats who were also very frustrated, and they came out of the gates swinging for the fences, swinging at your boy. They said, Hassan Piker is a dangerous man. Hassan Piker is a dangerous anti-Semite, they said. Used heinous smears. They said Hassan Piker is not good. Campaign poison. Unelectable. Well, I wasn't running for any election anyway. I was just showing up and offering support to my friend Abdul El-Sayed. They said I was a terrorist. They tried to terror jacket not only myself, but terror jacket Abdul, a Muslim man. And that's when the barrage of fuck Hassan articles started coming out. Many of those articles featured my perspective on Israel. And if you recall at the time, I said, I don't really mind this stuff. I don't really mind this hatred. I said they are unambiguous in their hatred of me, and I welcome their hatred. They drew their line of demarcation. Unfortunately, they drew it on the wrong side of a 90-10 issue, and you don't want to be on the wrong side. Unanimous in their hatred of me. Shut up. United, unanimous, unambiguous, whatever. All of that works. Calm down. So they got unbelievably frustrated. Now listen, at the time, I got anti-Rab Hassan Hey here in PA3. Wait, from who? Fucking libtards? Did you already talk about the Lakers? I did. You missed it, but you can rewind if you subscribe to the Piker Broadcasting Service. Now, at the time, when all these attacks were happening, what did I tell you? Over and over again. What did I tell you? Over and over again. I told you that this stuff is irrelevant. I said, your boos mean nothing because I've seen what makes you cheer. I said, placing yourself on the wrong side of a 90-10 issue, placing yourself on the wrong side of a 90-10 issue is only going to make you look bad. It's going to be good for me. It's going to be good for the candidates that I work with. And it turns out it was true. Okay? Turns out it was true. New poll came out today. Edinger Mentum calls it the Hasanabi bump. He posted, you come at the king, you better not miss. New poll in Michigan, May 1 through 7, showing Abdul El-Sayed at 27%. Haley Stevens following at 18%. And Mallory McMorrow also known as Mallory McCuomo, at 17%. Here was my prediction. Attack Abdul in a not so subtle Islamophobic campaign where they tried to like terror jacket myself and Abdul al-Sayed, which then backfired because then that led to a lot of coverage on Abdul al-Sayed, which led people to engage his campaign, try to figure out what his positions are, and they liked what they heard. So I think this will have a similar impact as well. It will lead people into questioning why McMorrow is trying to present herself as this like anti-establishment candidate and position herself as different than Abdul al-Sayed when he is the true anti-establishment pick. This is a race where people are looking for an anti-establishment candidate. Okay? Like if McMorrow's your lady, then it should just trouble you that this is her political judgment pivoting to lying. Liz Smith is lying on Abdul's name like he's a Cuomo victim. Says, yeah. And I called it, but nobody ever listens to what I have to say. They always want to talk about me, but they never want to talk to me. And they also don't want to hear what I have to say. A lot of these things I've already talked about. A lot of these things I already brought up, right? Now, of course, Democrats are hitting the maximalist cope, right? So many issues. This Mitchell poll sample, small sample entirely by text, which only gets you an overly engaged and liberal sample. Define LVs using self-report. Sample is way heavy on college educated and is pretty far off the expected electorate on age and gender. They texted RVs and simply asked who's voting in the Dem primary and got a super engaged and probably very liberal group of voters who are not all representative of the primary electorate. Cope. Damn, people are doing exactly opposite of what the establishment media is peddling for. Zero trust in mainstream media. Yeah. Now, this is just cope, and we'll get to all of that in a second. But there's a lot I want to talk about with this. Now, jokes aside, the poll itself quite literally features myself by name. Like, it literally says it was the Hassan Piker bump. I don't think that's the case. Okay? Now, the reason why I say that is because it is virtually impossible for me to be a kingmaker for a bad candidate, okay? That's just, I'm not being humble. I'm not being humble. I need you to understand. Abdul is a great candidate. He is a stud. He has spent most of his life advocating for Medicare for all. He worked in public health in the state of Michigan. He's a doctor. He's a Rhodes Scholar. He's jacked. If Abdul was a shit candidate, aligning with someone like myself wouldn't actually do anything for him, okay? It wouldn't help. It's the same with Zoran. It's the same with Zoran. I can only highlight candidates that are positive, candidates that are good, politicians that are responsive. I can only highlight their best, their best side, right? That's the point. Yesterday, you said you're not a kingmaker, you're just an asshole, and I think that's up for debate. So we look at the race. El-Sayed, 32, leads McMorrow, 19, and Stevens, 10 with white voters. However, Stevens, 36, leads McMorrow, 17, and El-Sayed with African-American voters. That's machine politics. Machine politics always goes for the most corporate aligned. That's the role that the Democrat, the machine plays, okay? It's tough to tackle. It's a very, very important aspect of winning primaries. And it's been a huge hurdle for left candidates to climb, okay? It's true, though, but it's true. In any case, among voters who are neither white nor African-American, Stevens, 27, has a big lead over El-Sayed, 15, and McMorrow at 5%. It's very clear that one of the most important factors in El-Sayed's movement up in the polls is the support he's receiving from far-left progressives who very strongly oppose United States and Israeli intervention in both Gaza and Iran. His support really bumped up after the endorsement by Hassan Piker. It will be interesting to see whether this is enough support to allow him to win. However, it is important to remember that with two women and with one man, the man has an advantage because the women vote will be divided almost equally, Mitchell concluded. Pollster in the Michigan Senate race showing Abdul up by 9, saying that Hassan the Hun is the primary reason for his surge in the polls. I think this is wrong. Okay? I don't think I'm like the only reason. I don't think I'm only capable of getting candidates more name recognition. Yeah, they also call me anti-Semitic in the second mention in here. This is the same poll that we're looking at. After endorsement from U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders, Vermont, and controversial podcaster Hassan Piker, Abdul al-Sayed, 28, has surged into a 9% lead over Congresswoman Haley Stevens at 18 and State Senator Mallory McMorrow. Okay? There's still 38% that are undecided. We got to go after those folks. It has generally been the rule that the most liberal Democrats vote in a Democratic primary and the most conservative Republicans vote in a Republican primary, with El-Sayed attacking far left and in opposition to both the United States and Israel in Gaza and Iran. El-Sayed is running as the most progressive and liberal candidate. Democrats saw the impact of the strong leftist progressive wing of their party take over the Democratic nominating convention held to determine Democratic nominees for statewide office like Secretary of State, Attorney General, and statewide education board seats. Piker, considered by many to be anti-Semitic, is probably a primary reason for El-Sayed's movement upward in the Democratic primary. Like, what is this argument that, like, I'm anti-Semitic, which is ridiculous, but then also anti-Semitism is really good? Like, what the fuck? It's really good to win votes. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, the pollster that did this is a right-wing pollster regardless, which makes this a little bit more interesting. But that's also part of the reason why Republicans, or not Republicans, but like right-wing Democrats will say this poll is propping up Abdul El-Sayed because they think Abdul El-Sayed will lose to Rogers. It's bullshit. And you'll start hearing that. You'll start hearing that from naysayers immediately, okay? Some of them will try to tackle the poll itself and will claim that this poll is actually bad, okay? Others will turn around. Motherfucker, you need to stop with that shit. You have so much fucking pull and sway. Even though your audience is 25 to 30, 40K a day, your methods and your words get back to Deborah's and Barbara's. Even the most offline normies know who you are and respect your politics. Your politics is the new left in America and people fucking crave it. You're not just some dickhead. You're relevant and impactful figure. Okay, that's a little bit too much. I'm never going to sit here and glaze myself. I'm just being, you know, I'm going to stay grounded, okay, and even keeled. So I think no figure is individually responsible. And I think most of the responsibility, victory or defeat, and in this case, hopefully, inshallah, a victory, stems from the candidate themselves. Are they charismatic? Are they responsive? What are their policies? Are they able to communicate their policies and their motives well enough that it penetrates the collective consciousness of the constituents, the voters? I think Abdul has it all, okay? Zoran had it too. There are some people who have it, some people who don't. There are a lot of candidates this midterms election that have it, okay? What we can do is mobilize. What we can do is organize. We have passionate voters, activists, advocates, organizers in this community that are desperate for a change. And if they see someone as an agent of that change, the change that they want to see, they'll go out and they won't just vote for that candidate, but they'll go out and engage in advocacy for said candidate. They'll door knock, they'll phone bank, they'll do all these things to combat the barrage of negative ads that are coming the way of these anti-Israel, pro-Medicare for all candidates from a lot of corporate super PACs. Okay? That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay? So, will you make a difference in my life and check my logs, please? Will you please address this doo-doo take? I've been thinking about it all day. What? Why is this a doo-doo take? No, I will not be addressing this take. We'll talk about Zoran's budget W in a second, too. So, of course, one of the immediate responses from the likes of these like right-wing charlatans like this one, this account is one of the most annoying accounts on election Twitter. Okay? Says, you are a Republican. How do you read a poll where the base has nearly 40% undecided and is nearly equally split among three Dems, ranging from centrist to far left, and say the base is with the left? Like, how do you actually do that with a straight face? I'm not merely being a jerk here. I'm sincerely curious how this could be your honest take on this poll. The 80% under 45s with one candidate shows how he's seizing the ground with marginal voters. The elderly that represent McMorrow and Stevens supporters are likely to coalesce around him. That should help. Michael from Pennsylvania is correct. Machine politics voters, lifelong blue dog Democrats, lifelong straight down ballot voters will coalesce around the one who actually wins. What's important in the general is to activate voters that normally don't vote. The youth, voters that have left the Democratic Party's ranks. The fact that this is a primary in a midterm and there's this much excitement from the youth vote around a particular candidate in a normal, competent Democratic Party should imply that that candidate is the one that goes into the general, right? If we had a primary system that revolved around electability, like real electability, they would look to this situation, they would look to the results, they would see that 80% of the under 85 or the under 35 voters are excited to vote for one guy, 80%. And they would go, those are literally the people that never vote. And now, or under 45, sorry, under 45. It's unbelievable. Okay? 80% is Assad numbers for under 45. Those are the people that don't vote. Or if they do, they don't really vote for the Democrats. Those are the people that left the Democratic Party. The voters that are already a given that will vote in the Democratic primaries, the over 45, the over 65, those are people that will always vote for the Democrat regardless. The candidate that secures enthusiasm and excitement from the unlikely coalitions that the Democrats lost is the candidate that is most likely to win in the general. Okay? Abdul al-Sayed is that candidate. A competent party would say, all right, clearly these polls show that he has the momentum in the general. He's most likely to win in the general. And yet we don't have a party primary system that is actually designed for electability. We have a party primary system where we weaponize false arguments of electability to present the only adequate choice as the most moderate one. Okay? Because the goal of the primary system is not to actually put forth the best possible candidate. The goal of the primary system is to put forth the most corporate-backed candidate. Corporate-backed, but still somewhat exciting to the base. That is what they're trying to do in the primaries. Nathan says you're a Republican, and of course he shows that everyone is losing to Mike Rogers, which is bullshit, by the way. I would bet my life on it, okay? The idea that Mike Rogers is going to fucking win against even Mick Morrow, honestly, is ludicrous. The only candidate that Mike Rogers could potentially win against is Stevens, and this is the one where this C-rated Glengarriff poll says Stevens has the highest likelihood of coming closer to Mike Rogers. Okay, 44 to 42, 43 to 41, 45 to 40, saying al-Sayed is the least likely to he's the worst performing against Mike Rogers. This is bullshit. Okay, it's complete bullshit. There is no shot. Okay, the real battle is happening in the primaries in this election. It's not going to be in the general. Mike Rogers lost against Slotkin. Mike Rogers is not winning against al-Sayed, and certainly not winning against. Is certainly not winning against al-Sayed, and possibly not even winning against McMorrow. I'll be honest. He might have a better shot at defeating Haley Stevens. Mike Rogers just ran in 2024. He had tens of millions pushing his name recognition. Exactly. And that is the only reason why the polls look this way. Rogers just did a major statewide campaign in 2024. This is simply a name recognition artifact. Stop being stupid as fuck. I know it's hard for you. So Hassan did absolutely fucking nothing to help al-Sayed with his fucking dog shit numbers against a guy who lost to Elisa Slotkin. She's Zionist and evil, by the way, in 2024. Wow, not only am I shocked, I'm amazed that Hassan is that irrelevant. I like that losers like this are so singularly focused. Like, this is supposed to be an election Twitter autist, okay? Like, how can you say that you are autistically invested in the polls and then drop any kind of reasonable read you could have on the polls when my name gets brought up in the conversation? You drop everything just so you can fucking say, oh, well, Hassan is irrelevant. Okay, so what? Yeah, I'm irrelevant, big dog. Who cares? Why do I have permanent occupation in your fucking mind if I'm so goddamn irrelevant? Okay, look at his pinned. I'm not gonna say nothing. Okay, I'm not gonna. Is that Harry Potter? Yeah, that's Harry Pooter. That's crazy, bro. He bullying you? Yeah, no, definitely. He shoved me in a locker. Show the PDF I sent you in the DMs. They say you are the reason Abdul is winning. I already showed it. Remember, this is the don't be an asshole party. That's why people get mad at me. You can't be that much of an asshole. Yeah. I'm not even kidding, bro. There's something deeply wrong with a lot of these people, that their brain is so fucking unbelievably rotted by being online too much. They've seen too much like anti-Hassan content, and they think that I'm like a real mover and shaker in a negative manner. And it's really funny because it's like, clearly it hasn't been fucking negative. Okay? It clearly hasn't been negative. It's been positive. So what the fuck are you complaining about? I said centrist libs still desperately trying to make the argument that a Muslim doctor who's dedicated his life to Medicare for all is unelectable in Michigan. They were professionally wrong when they complained about Abdul campaigning with me. They're still professionally wrong. Have humility. Because Trey Easton of Searchlight Institute, one of John Fetterman's strongest soldiers, by the way, we should remember that. We should remind people of that. Says, let's talk about all the polls out of Michigan today. In a hypothetical matchup, Rogers got 43.8% support to Stevens' 41.5%, while Rogers got 42%. Like, these guys are so invested in eviscerating the left flank because it undermines their fucking worldview. It undermines their primary purpose, which is to get Democrats to give them tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars every election, to tell the Democrats what they want to hear, which is keep moderating, keep pivoting to be as friendly as possible to corporations. Stay the course. Do not stray away from the course. We have to keep representing the interests of Aetna. We have to keep representing the interests of Blue Cross Blue Shield. Please, no matter what you do not say fuck Israel, for example. Don't you dare say that, even if people want to hear it. You don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear that, actually. They just lie to themselves and they lie to their fucking goddamn candidates over and over again. Moments like this show that is a failure. They thought all of the negative coverage saying Hassan is an anti-Semite, Abdul is a terrorist, Hassan is a terrorist, was actually going to hurt his chances. It didn't. What did I tell you? People kept coming in here being like, bro, are you okay? People are really on your ass, man. Are you okay? And what did I tell you? I said I'm doing great. It's fucking annoying at times, but I'm still doing great. You want to know why? Because there is tremendous amounts of enmity towards mainstream media. There's tremendous amounts of animosity towards Israel. And mainstream media, corporate Democrats in Israel are some of the most unpopular entities in the United States of America right now. And all of those forces have basically joined to attack me on a 90-10 issue where they're on the 10% side. Of course it's going to fucking fail. Sarah Longwell, Bulwark, Third Way, have some fucking humility. If we're actually in this battle, as you claim we are, together to defeat fascism in this fucking country, I think it's time to have a little bit of fucking humility. This was the whole point. Like clockwork, huge hit piece on Abdul just dropped. Of course it did. They tarnished the reputation of incredible candidates like this. They try to do everything in their power to stop this momentum. Okay? Michigan Senate hopeful El Sayed calls himself a physician, but has little history, little experience as a licensed medical doctor, or no experience. Yeah, bro, he's an epidemiologist. He's literally openly stated that. My dad was literally his professor in med school. Yeah. Does he have a PhD? He's a doctor? No, he is. He's a doctor. He's literally a doctor. He is a doctor. He's also an epidemiologist. He has an MD. They're so desperate. They're hitting the fucking Zoran route here. They're like, Abdul El Sayed doesn't like vanilla flavored ice cream. You know? What's next? One time we found Dr. Abdul El Sayed actually threw a piece of garbage in the recyclable garbage can, but it was only 53% recyclable. Can you have some decency, sir? Why do you want the environment to suffer? There's no doubt that El Sayed has top-notch medical credentials. He attended the University of Michigan Medical School, ended up receiving his medical degree from Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons. He has a doctorate in public health from Oxford University and worked as an assistant professor of epidemiology at Columbia for a year before moving to Detroit to be the executive director of health officer of the Detroit Health Department. That's the guy that they're saying is like beefing up his credentials. If anything, saying that you are a fucking licensed physician would be a downgrade from the amount of experience he has in the field of public health, which, for the record, he doesn't fucking present himself as a physician at all. So what the fuck are you talking about? He's a goddamn Rhodes Scholar. That's from the hit piece. That's how insane this guy's credentials are. Yeah. Abdul didn't clutch around during promotion and call it in Counter-Strike one time. Is he capable of winning an election if he can't win a promotional round in Counter-Strike? Anyway, so he has more relevant experience for government than he would as a normal patient-focused doctor? Yes, of course. They're literally going to go back into our old videos that we did, our old streams, and find that he actually couldn't make a three-point shot. You know what I mean? Against those kids that we played in Dearborn, and be like, look at his jumper. If he's not ready for the big leagues, is he ready for Congress? Like, it's fucking so stupid. Dave Weigel with a not so charitable take once again. Third way's anti-Assam push, probably the biggest backfire of the cycle for Dems, right? It's an attention economy. That was the cue to say, pay attention to Abdul, who confidently grabbed the attention to say things liberals like and agree with. Part of this, it got Abdul more Fox and conservative media hits. And the internet, the interest in that media right now is getting him the nomination because they think he's an easy kill, which they could be wrong about. This is why I said it's not very charitable. So we got 2026 Fetterman coverage, not 2022 Fetterman coverage. The idea is like, oh, Fox News is doing the Pied Piper strategy. Okay, well, since we know that the Pied Piper strategy was an abject failure when Hillary Clinton did it against Donald Trump, let it happen then. Let it fucking happen. Actually insane. Every candidate in the country is going to be trying to get us on the campaign with them. Yeah, look at this, dude. Voters age 18 to 44. El Sayed, 80%. The voters heard what was going on and said, that's my guy. I'm a numbers guy. Okay. This is valuetainment. I'm a numbers guy. I say, let's chat GPT it. Let's grok it. Okay. I grokked it. I chat GPT it. I'm a numbers guy. It turns out voters love, under the age of 45, voters love Abdul El Sayed. Yeah. To our non-binary emperors, female El Sayed +1, male El Sayed +13, non-binary El Sayed +100, ages 18 and 34, El Sayed +76. I chat GPT'd it. I grokked it. I never clawed it. I did not clawed it. I'm a numbers guy, but I never do the Claude. I don't like Claude. I don't fuck with Claude. It's like a women's name. It's a female name. I don't like it. Your mods are on a shitty banning streak, nuking people and handing out 7 dares. Let me guess. You, on your other sock account, came in here just to say, Hassan, are you white or are you not white? Because that's the fashionable thing to cry about today. Because you saw a fucking cynically cut, out of context YouTube video compilation on Twitter, and you wanted to come in here and advance that agenda so you could get me to answer it, so you could then clip something else out of context, and now you're mad because you were banned before you were able to do that on your other sock account. No, actually. Okay, so what was it? What was the issue that you brought up in your other sock account that probably got a 7-day ban? Go ahead. Or they were sexualizing a woman, or they were doing some fuck shit. The snitching and crying is so insane. AOC stuff. Pig Bodine 1996. Let's see. Dog, I am so glad you got banned. I want you to never be able to speak on this website ever again. You're disgusting. Yeah. That is the most worthwhile ban of all time. That is literally the most worthwhile ban of all time. You will never get unbanned in this community. Oh my God. DDGers always turn up in here whenever Epstein has bad personal news. Court case not going well for the consent violator sex pest. Yeah, I know. It's been the past 6 years. Anytime he the way it works is, the sex pest cult leader who doesn't have that big of a community, especially any longer, but it's large enough to gain momentum and can latch on to other much larger communities that also fucking hate me for ideological reasons, will try to redirect the attention away from him because he'll go on and he'll be like, oh, I ran over a cat or something in a car and it was caught on video, and then I said I did it on purpose. I'm just making up a hypothetical. Instantly his community will be like, why did you run over this cat? Do you fucking hate cats? Do you want to kill cats? And he'll be like, hey guys, actually Hassan hates cats. He's actually murdered an entire litter of little kitties. And then his audience like that will be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said this truthful thing. I forgot all about the cat that you might have murdered that I saw on camera. And now I'm just going to imagine in my world that Hassan is actually murdering litters of kitten. And and immediately go to his community and start advancing this fucking idiotic argument that Hassan has actually murdered entire litters of kittens. This is how it works every single time. This is a totally hypothetical scenario. This didn't actually happen in the real world, but basically, that's how it works. Literally, he's in an active court case for revenge porn. Okay, numerous victims have come out. He's been doing this court battle for almost a year and a half now. Okay, he constantly says he's going to win the court case any day now, and obviously it hasn't gone the way he wanted it to go. And that's the reason why they will literally, his entire community will constantly say like, "Oh, Hassan did this too." No, I didn't. Okay. Here is great evidence that I didn't do this. I'm not in a fucking legal battle currently with numerous victims. The fuck are you talking about? No, of course I didn't do that. Yeah, the guy that has a legal document calling him a pedophile proceeded to just slander me and say I'm a pedophile instead. Yeah, no, actually, that's not the case, okay? It's not. And it's so fucking successful for his cult and also numerous other edge communities, orbiter communities that make content off of just straight up lying about me, okay? Because they've all decided that like I am the figurehead of all things woke, all things related to the Democratic Party, all things related to SJWs, all things related to the left. They have designed this universe where like I'm responsible for every little thing that has happened, okay? A girl actually hurt your feelings and didn't reciprocate when you showed them interest. Oh, this is feminism. Who's responsible for the feminism? Hassan Piker. It literally is the most insane experience that I've ever encountered. That's why, like, my haters don't fucking behave normal. They just lose their damn minds for some reason. I feel like this would be better illustrated with a video board. We want you to do better.